Ladies and gentlemen.
I'll go first.
Roll the camera. Okay.
Kia ora, welcome to Diamond Harbour Kotuku Team. I'm Stella.
And I'm Bridget. In today's stories, a new crime wave is sweeping the country in the form of woolen graffiti. Scientists has invented an invisibility cloak. We help them find it, and the latest in weather around the country. But first, a story that will turn your world upside down.
If you think the world is getting more and more topsy-turvy, it turns out you're right. Builders in Germany have built an upside-down house, and before you think they've read the plans upside down, they did it on purpose. The wacky abode was built as a tourist attraction, as well as being a comment on the state of the world. The house is 23 feet tall and rests on its roof, and has steel beams in the attic. Inside the house there are beds screwed into the ceiling, upside-down wardrobes, and an upside-down kitchen, and even an upturned bathroom, though it's not known if anyone has tried to have a bath in it or go to the toilet. Normally a house like this would take 3 weeks to build. This one took over 4 months, because the workers kept getting confused by the strange angles of the walls. Many tourists visiting the house complain of feeling sick and dizzy after just a few minutes inside. We now go across to our reporter Isla, who is inside the house. How are you feeling, Isla?
Thanks, Stella. I'm here with the owner of the house, Sasha van der Steur, and I'm feeling exhilarated. So what made you decide to build this upside-down house?
Well, when I was a kid, I liked being upside down, and I thought it would be different than everyone else's house. Yeah.
I see. What comment do you think the house makes against the state of the world?
Well, I reckon more people should build their houses upside down because it's really fun and you get confused a lot.
Okay. What are some of the challenges of living in an upside-down house?
Sleeping, because you have to hold on, and then if you slip, you fall down.
I see. How did your pets handle the change from upright to upside down?
At the beginning, it was quite hard for them because I thought it was an earthquake, but then as soon as it started going more upside down, it was okay for them because they are bats and they like being upside down.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here. I'm Isla from Diamond Harbour Kotuku Team. Back to you, Stella, in the studio.
Thanks, Isla. Even watching that makes me feel a little bit sick. And now for a story that is truly out of sight. Look out, Harry Potter, the world of science is catching up to the world of magical. Scientists in Europe have created 3D invisibility cloak, which can hide objects by bending light waves. It has been found that light can be controlled by using special tiny crystals that makes objects disappear. So far, scientists have found a small object such as coins disappear. That won't be too long before they're hiding cars and planes and even people. People have always dreamed of making themselves invisible. One top scientist says the possibilities are endless and we are very excited. However, since inventing the invisibility cloak, the scientists have been having trouble finding it. As soon as we put it down somewhere, it just disappears. The inventor of the cloak said it appears they are having trouble finding other things too, like their lunch, which they think may be underneath the cloak. What will this invention actually be used for? Hoping to see through the reasons behind the invisibility cloak. Here is on the reporter Julia with more on the story.
Hello, I'm Julia Dower, and with me is Georgia and Chloe Stent, two of the scientists behind the invisibility cloak. Hi Georgia and Chloe, and thanks for joining us today. Can you show me how this invisibility cloak works? Oh, freaky. Take it off. What made you want to invent an invisibility cloak?
Well, we've been trying it for ages and so have other people. We tried it once before and it didn't work. So we tried it again. And it did.
Yes, we were very surprised and we wanted to show the public, so here we are. What a great success. What do you hope the cloak will be used for?
Oh, we hope it will be used in a
good manner. We not like stealing or anything like this. We hope that the FBI might use it as a spy weapon and things like this.
Exactly.
Yeah, but what would happen if the cloak got in the wrong hands? Wouldn't we have a crisis on our hands?
Yes, we'd unfortunately have to stop making the cloaks.
Yes, we would, but I mean, we'll just have to hope for the best.
A wise decision. Well, that makes things very clear. Thanks for joining us. Back to you, Stella and Bridget, in the studio.
Thanks, Julia. And now, how's this for an interesting yarn? A new wave of graffiti crime is covering the country, thanks to an underground gang known as the Midnight Knitters. These wool-waving criminals are covering trees, branches and lampposts with small jerseys and scarves under the cover of darkness. Police say the knitted activities of the gang are illegal because their woolly crimes are being done on public property without permission. The popularity of the woolen graffiti is growing, and more public objects are being wrapped up every night. The problem is growing, police say, and warn that if the Midnight Knitters aren't caught soon, every tree, lamppost and traffic light in the country will be warmly dressed against the cold. The problem is spinning out of control. They're a close-knit group of dyed-in-the-wool criminals. We're stitching together a case, but it's not seamless. There is no real pattern to the crimes, a police spokesman said today. So far, the criminal knitters have escaped arrest and continue to pull the wool over the eyes of both the public and the police. We go now to the secret location with our investigative reporter Maisie, who has an exclusive interview with one of the Midnight Knitters gang.
Thanks, Stella. I'm here with the owner of the house. Oops. Thanks, Stella. I'm Maisie, and joining me in this top secret location is a member of the Midnight Knitters gang. Hello, Zach, and thanks for joining us. What led you into this dark underworld of knitted graffiti?
I like knitting, and I always wanted to do it.
Do you see yourself as a criminal?
Of course not, and I never will.
Do the public?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know. It's just that they just think I'm a criminal for doing graffiti.
Okay. Apart from trees, lampposts and traffic lights, what else would you like to graffiti with your woolens?
Houses!
Anything else?
Buildings like Parliament!
Wouldn't that be illegal though?
So?
Okay. Thanks for your time, Zach, of the Midnight Knitters gang. We now go over to Oscar with the weather update.
Thank you, Maisie, and good evening, New Zealand. Let's have a look at tomorrow's weather. Starting in the far north in Kaitaia. Look out for some pretty flash flooding and raindrops as big as your head. If you're going outside, wear a hat. Moving down to Auckland, there will be a mix of fair conditions and unfair conditions. But those are the conditions, so you'll just have to accept them. There will be no weather at all in the Bay of Plenty. It's taking a short holiday, but it's expected to be back for the weekend in Napier and Hastings. The weather will be sometimes changeable and sometimes not. We really have no idea what's going on there. In Taranaki, a mild depression brings with it a very dull day with no highlights at all. It will be overcast and a gloomy all morning. But things should cheer up by the evening, so don't worry, everything will be fine. Wellington will have another capital day. There will be no wind at all. The conditions will be pleasant. They'll actually be extreme. In the top of the South Island, Kaikoura can expect to have a good day, meeting friends for lunch, going for a swim, and reading the newspaper. But try to stay indoors. The weather will be just terrible. A real mix for Christchurch, which will have some unreasonable rainfall, some sensible wind, moderate thunderstorms and some very angry snow. And in the lower south, Dunedin will be frosty, cold and unfriendly until late morning, when the sun will pop up for a visit. Everybody likes the sun. That's all from me. Remember, if it's raining outside, that's your weather for you. Good night, New Zealand. Now it's back to the news desk with Stella and Bridget.
Thanks, Oscar. Well, that's all we have time for. We hope you enjoyed this evening's broadcast. Thank you all for watching.
And we'll see you again next time.
Until then, I'm Stella.
And I'm Bridget for Diamond Harbour School News Kotuku Team. But goodbye.
E noho rā.
Ladies and gentlemen. Roll the camera. Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we are featuring an interview with a very peculiar-looking gentleman.
Scene 1, take 1. Scene 1, take 2.